Hello again, this is Greg from Advanced Fire Systems. Today we're going to talk about modifying a fire panel, adding a NAC device to it. This time it'll be a Gentex horn strobe. And we're going to modify in the faceplate of the fire panel the protocol that it will use, and we'll tell it whether we want the horns to be off on silence and the strobes off on reset, or both the horns and strobes off on silence. So the first thing that we'll need to do is to get into programming. I've put the fire panel in programming. As you can see here, the yellow light is on. What we want to do is we want to choose the next menu because we're looking for the setup screen. So I'll hit the check mark and move to the next menu. You'll see that the setup screen is right here. So we'll go up to the setup screen and enter in. On the setup screen, we're going to scroll down a number of times until we see onboard NACs. Onboard NACs are currently set for 2 Class B circuits. Now this is a 1-loop fire panel and it does only have 2 NAC circuits. But currently there's no protocol. We're not going to be turning our horns and strobes off on silence. We have no check marks or any modifications to any of those items. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go down to the protocol. Under the protocol, we have 4 options. We have Gentex, we have Potter MCCO, we have System Sensor, and we have Cooper Wheel Lock. And again, I say we're going to use Gentex, so I'll swing back around to the Gentex. Now, if I would like to have the horns and strobes off on silence, I would put a check mark in this location here. If I want the horns off on silence and strobes off on reset, I leave that with a dash mark. I'll scroll down and hit the check mark there. The next item is I'm going to ask the 4 potential NAC circuits. In this case, this is a 1-loop panel, so there'll only be 2. I'm going to ask those items to follow the protocol. So I simply slide down, hit the check mark on NAC 1. There's the check mark. Go down to NAC number 2 and hit the check mark. At this point, all I need to do is hit escape, 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 and get out of programming. Panel will be back in normal. And right now, our horns will be off, as well as our strobes, on system silence. Okay, our system is all normal. I'm going to now activate my pull station. We'll notice that the fire panel goes into alarm. And as you can hear, the fire panel is... I'll hit silence. Notice that both our horn stopped making a noise and our strobe stopped flashing. Okay, that is how you set up the protocol and ask the device for both the horn and strobe to go off on silence, doing this in the faceplate. The next thing I'd like to show you is how this is done so that it is embedded in the system using the computer. So now I've opened up my configuration tool on my computer, and what I'm going to do is open up a previous job that I've been working with. So I click on the forward file and hit reopen, and this will be the one that is my desktop. So in here I have a fire panel and an annunciator. So what I want to do is I want to click on the fire panel and open up the tree below it. When the tree below it is opened up, I'm going to go back up and click on the fire panel itself. And then what we're going to do is look into the lower left corner, and in the lower left corner there's an option box called NAC Options. And as you can see here, nothing has been set up as far as the NAC options other than the panel is looking for 2 Class A circuits. Well, as we had done earlier in the face of the fire panel, we're going to make a change to the type of device. In this case, I know that the items were 2 Class B circuits. So what I'll do is click on the 2 Class A, and I will select 2 Class B. The next item is I'm going to choose the protocol. And there are those same 4 protocols again, and this time we'll choose Gentex. Now last time we said that we wanted the horns and strobes off on silence. But I'd like to show you a little bit differently by not putting the check mark on the strobe silence. This will mean that our strobes will continue to flash until the system is reset. And in this case, we only have the 2 NAC circuits, so I will click on the normal and I will ask it to follow the horn strobe protocol. And I'll do that for both NACs 1 and 2. I'm not going to alter 3 and 4 because they don't exist. So now I will save my job. And then what I'm going to do is prepare the fire panel by putting it in programming so that I can communicate with it and send this information into the system. So I've got the panel in programming, and the next thing I'm going to do is go to the next menu and put it in PC config. And there's PC config there, and we'll put it in PC config. Now we're waiting for the fire panel to be uploaded to from the computer. All right, I'm back over at my laptop computer. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the cable, see if I can establish communications. And notice down here at the bottom of the screen, I do have the ball going back and forth. And then what I'm going to do is come up and click on the tablet computer. So that's the upload. When I click on that, it's going to ask me, it's going to say this is node 1 is the next node number 2. That is correct because I do have an enunciator. And say OK, and we're going to begin the transmission of the information into the fire panel. And once that information is complete, this radio button that says cancel will change from cancel to done. Currently the panel is just verifying the config flash. Give it just a moment here. And we'll wait for it, and it is done. The upload flag, something we might not have seen before. Notice on the fire panel it has a yellow exclamation. If I say yes to reset the upload flag, notice that that goes away. It is simply there as a visual indicator that the fire panel and the programmer are now matched with the same information. And I'm going to stop all of my communications to the fire panel and then get us completely out of programming and ready to do a test. All right, so now we're back over to our fire panel and we're all done with the program change. So we're going to hit the escape button a couple of times and we'll get out of programming 3 and give it our password, followed by the check mark, and you can see the programming light is out, and we'll put the panel back to normal operation. So now our panel is normal. So the next thing we're going to do is go back over to our pull station, and remember, this time, instead of saying horns and strobes off on silence, we're going to let the strobe ring. So I'll activate the pull station, and here comes the alarm. Okay. I'll hit acknowledge and silence. In this case, you can see off the side of the device that the visual is still flashing, but the horn is stopped. So now I've hit the reset on my fire panel and it's back to normal. So that is the difference between programming stuff in the faceplate of the panel versus using your computer to program it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please come back. We'll have some others posted on our website. Thank you and have a wonderful day.